Labeling serves as a streamlined approach to building rapport and accelerating the emotional rapport building process in negotiations. Labeling holds a distinct advantage when dealing with a tense person. By bringing negative thoughts or emotions into the open through labeling by saying, "It looks like you don't want to," these emotions will then appear less intimidating and more manageable. Research conducted by psychology professor Matthew Lieberman of the University of California, Los Angeles, supports the benefits of labeling emotions. In one brain imaging study, participants who viewed photos of faces displaying intense emotions showed heightened activity in the amygdala, the brain region associated with fear response. However, when participants were prompted to label the emotion, the brain activity shifted to regions responsible for rational thinking. This finding suggests that labeling emotions, which is the act of applying logical language to feelings of fear, will help diminish the intensity of those emotions by engaging cognitive processes. In negotiation, using labeling techniques can help diffuse tension and create a more constructive environment for communication. By encouraging the other person to verbalize their emotions, you can shift them from emotional reactions to more reasonable responses, ultimately fostering a more productive dialogue. To help illustrate the process of effective labeling as a result of observation, here are some examples. Example 1. During a discussion about a business contract, the counterpart suddenly averts their gaze and starts tapping their pen on the table. The negotiator observes this and gently says, "It seems like you might be feeling a bit uneasy about something we just discussed. Is there a particular aspect that's concerning you?" By noting the shift in body language and labeling the possible underlying emotion of unease, you created an opening for the other person to clarify what's troubling them. This non-confrontational approach encourages them to openly share their perspective. Example 2. A supervisor is negotiating their crew's lack of attention to safety regulations. When the issue is brought up, the crew members furrow their brow. The supervisor acknowledges this by saying, "I notice you seem frustrated with these regulations. Can you help me understand why?" Here, the supervisor labels the emotion of frustration based on the crew's physical cues, and then invites them to explain their perspective. This allows the supervisor to gain deeper insight into the crew's concerns and potentially find a mutually agreeable solution. Example 3. During a real estate negotiation, the landlord becomes visibly tense when the tenant mentions a recent noise complaint from a neighbor. The negotiator observes this and states, "It seems like the topic of the neighbor complaint is making you feel a bit anxious. Am I reading that correctly?" By labeling the landlord's apparent anxiety and framing it as a question, the negotiator creates an opportunity for the landlord to address the underlying issue, which may be crucial to resolving the overall negotiation. The key in all these examples is the negotiator's ability to closely observe the other person's behavioral changes. By listening and observing, you will be able to accurately label the implied emotions, and then pose it as an open-ended question to invite further discussion and clarity. This collaborative approach builds trust and facilitates a deeper understanding of the counterpart's perspective. And in that mode of discovery, you will uncover a wealth of information that can work to your advantage.